Mic Drop Moments is sponsored by Grow Radio. Want to launch your own podcast? Grow Radio are here to help. Grow Radio has launched and supported countless podcasts, and they'd love to do the same for you. Just hit record and they'll handle the rest. No editing stress, no technical faff, just a great podcast released when you want. Need a little extra support? Grow Radio's workshops and courses make getting started easy. Let's bring your podcast to life. Message Grow Radio on social media or reach out to Gary Jones, the founder of Grow Radio. Let's make this happen. Welcome to Mic Drop Moments, and today I'm chatting with Lizzie Hazell. I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Hi, I'm Lizzie. Thank you for having me, Sandra. So good to be here. So I run a networking group in Stratford-upon-Avon, and I'm also currently very close to being a qualified Pilates instructor.
Two extremes there, really. Networking and Pilates. I suppose you could combine the two. We'll explore a little bit about why in a minute, but tell us a little bit about your story. What's your background? You know, you're obviously going into new things now, but what historically have you done and what's been your journey so far?
So I was made redundant, and at the time I was pregnant, 3 months pregnant with my third child. We'd recently moved to Stratford-upon-Avon, and we had a couple of family members up here on my husband's side, but I was left kind of in a new place. I didn't have any friends. I didn't have a job. I didn't know what I was doing. I was really lost. So I retrained as a life coach, which I loved at the time, but then I'm not very good on maternity leave. I like to be busy. So I had a few months off, and then I thought, okay, I really need to make a go of this coaching business. So I started doing that. I mean, I qualified 2 weeks, I think, after I gave birth, because I was so kind of really working up to the wire. Yeah, I like to be busy. Yeah, so I was trying to make that work, and I just didn't know what to do. So I didn't know what to do, but I also didn't know where to turn because none of my friends were self-employed and none of my friends were around me. So I wrote on the Stratford-upon-Avon Facebook forum, just a quick message said, is anyone else interested in having a coffee morning just for local business owners to connect? Because I couldn't find anything like that at the time. And within 24 hours, I had about 300 people, like and comment and things. So I just started running it. I didn't think anything of it. I was just doing it for fun, to make friends, and because I thought it would bring me clients. So it was completely free for most of last year. And over the course of that year, I started thinking, oh, hang on, it's the events that I love. It's not the coaching. So then that was when you put so much time and effort into trying to make something work, it's quite difficult to let go. So I found that really difficult. It took me months actually until I realized actually I don't want to be a coach at all. I just want to focus on events and Pilates coming soon. And so anyway, I started charging at the beginning of the year, and I've reinvested all of that money into the brand. I just want to keep it in Stratford. And what it's shown me from going all in is that I was looking on my analytics earlier, and I had as many views on my website in the last month that I did for the whole of the previous 12 months because following my heart.
And I think the thing is, and I've been there, I trained as a coach, very quickly realised that I wasn't a coach because I'm too forward in suggesting things and coaching. It's all about finding the answers within, whereas I'm more of a mentor, which is, have you tried this? And would you like to have a go at that? And, oh, this would be great for you. So basically, I can't keep my mouth shut. But it's a brave thing to do, to invest in something, to spend all that time doing it. But I don't think your coaching skills ever go away. I still find myself, even with running events and doing the things that I do, I still fall back on those coaching skills. I think all skills are transferable. So never think of that as wasted input. It will come and serve you throughout what you're doing now. So tell us, you've got all these hits coming in on the website. You've started charging people, obviously not 300 people because people do like and comment and don't actually go. So what has evolved from this? Because you've only been going a short while, but what are you starting to see? What patterns are you starting to see with the people that are coming along?
There's a real mix of people. But because it's not just for business owners, it's just for Stratford businesses as well. So sometimes it's, the people that work within the bigger business come and represent, like we quite often have Stratford Prep School, for example. They just want to be a part of the community, which I love. But what brings me the most joy, I guess, are the people that come to my events who, for the same reason why I started them. So it's the people that don't feel comfortable anywhere else, because there are some absolutely brilliant networking groups around Stratford, around Warwickshire, as you know, you've got one of them. But sometimes these big events, which I love, are too intimidating for people when they're just first starting out. So I like to think of myself as a stepping stone, helping those people growing their confidence through coming to my events, speaking to business people, realizing we're not that scary and we don't have it all together. And then, they have the confidence to go to much bigger events and join different networking circles.
So when you decided on the format of your event, because I think it's just come along and network and have coffee, was it very much about keeping that community spirit and the friendships that you were seeking when you first started it?
Yeah, exactly that. Because again, I couldn't find anything like that. On my online events, we have speakers, which I love, and people love that. But I think for my coffee morning, it's just more, some people just come with their friends, just chat to their friends, or, they might talk to a couple of people, but I didn't want it to be the atmosphere of any selling. I didn't want it to be a sales atmosphere.
Yeah, there's a place for structured networking, a great place. I know, I'm a member of structured networking and I love it.
Definitely.
But I also love the informal networking. And, there's so many different scope and variety of events. I run online networking, I run the big face-to-face events, and I used to run network events in venues locally, which I stopped when the pandemic happened. And that's the right thing for me because my big events are huge and I have to focus on those. And I just think it's so lovely that the way there are a variety of events that suit everybody, because what I found was recently an event that we held was that a lot of people, it's their first time or their first foray into a big room, and that's extremely daunting when you're
Yeah.
attending something on your own. I know many women come to my awards on their own, and it's the first time probably in the local area. They've traveled from a long distance. It's the first time they've walked into a big event. And it's quite daunting, and especially people that have got neurodivergent, get the word out, that do suffer in those situations. So on my bigger events, I've started to have meet and greeters. People,
Yeah.
so they've almost got a familiar face. And with my awards, we have the finalists all come and have different workshops and things along the journey. So again, when they walk in, they've got that familiar face or they arrange to meet somebody. But what you're doing is actually enabling people who are local to Stratford upon Avon to have that first step, to have that basically make those connections, and then they can move on and go to the bigger events as well as yours. But it seems if you're building a community as well.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what's really important to me.
Yeah. So how on earth did Pilates come into it?
So it was earlier on this year, and this is when the penny hadn't dropped that I wanted to make the kind of run networks and events and things full time and not focus on the coaching. And I was still thinking I need to get the coaching off the ground. I couldn't do it. I didn't know what I was doing wrong, but it just wasn't happening for me. And I was getting just quite, I'm not really a negative person, but I wasn't feeling great. I was just like, what do I do? I started going to Pilates and it just reignited a spark in me again. And I just loved it. And do you do Pilates?
I have done Pilates, yeah.
Do you like it?
I can't walk on my hands and I can't weight bear on my hands. I don't
Oh,
mean,
I see.
yeah, when
Okay,
you're
yeah.
walking forward. So I can't do, because I broke my wrist and I broke my knuckle. So I have
Ah,
balance issues with weight bearing on my hands, and I've got a broken ankle and a ligament replaced ankle. So some of the Pilates moves I find very difficult.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
get what you mean. If you find some form of exercise that you love, I love anything with dance in it. It's got to be lively for me.
Yeah, there you go. Yes.
So I
But you
think, but
want,
once you find something that when you walk in that room and you think, oh, I can't wait to come back next week,
yeah.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's get the endorphins go, you feel good, you feel as if you've worked out.
Yeah.
But yeah, sadly for me, it's not Pilates, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Maybe if you come to my classes, Sandra, we can always adapt to the exercises. But yeah, no, so that was it. And as well, like with the sense of community, I loved the sense of community. So I'd go and the same people go every week and it's the same instructor and we all have a lovely time. And then we go on and, probably don't speak to each other outside of, well, definitely don't speak to each other outside of the class. And then, you go back the next week and it just feels, yeah, I just love it. And I'd love to create that safe space for people as well.
Yeah. So what's the plans with the Pilates then? Are you going to open your own classes and start doing those?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm gonna have in-person classes in Stratford, but I'm also gonna start running retreats. So I've got my first beta day, testing it out on the 9th of May, which is why I can't come to the awards. Sorry, Sandra. Yeah, and then that's kind of my passion is incorporating business with wellness because as you know, I mean, I'm sure you know so many burnt out entrepreneurs, we just don't look after ourselves because we don't prioritize ourselves. And that's what I want to help.
Yeah. And again, I think your coaching experience will come into that, into the Pilates arena and the wellness arena. And you're right. Entrepreneurs, and historically I've burnt out several times. I've broken so many bones since I was self-employed, and that is because I'm always racing, multitasking, trying to do the next thing. And every single bone I've broken hasn't been because I've been out and having a good time. It's because I've been rushing to do the next thing and not being mindful and being mindless. And I think because I've put myself into that state, I'm just clumsy anyway. But it meant that I've had these slips, trips, falls, whatever, and invariably broken bones and all sorts. So I'm making sure now that my wellness is high on the agenda, but so many entrepreneurs and business owners don't do that. My holidays go in the diary first, my downtime goes in the diary first, and business fits around it. And too often when we start working for ourselves, we're so excited at what we're doing, we love it, we just want to do it all the time. But then when the work does start piling in, it does mean that we're literally burning ourselves out. And I'm a big advocate for taking time out and working on you first, putting you in the diary first, and everything else fits around it.
Yeah, which is a brilliant mentality, but how long did it take you to get there?
Oh gosh, decades.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Exactly. I've learned the hard way. And if I
Yeah.
can impart my knowledge and say to people, when I was younger, when I was in my 30s, I remember I was studying for my degree. I got two small children. I was working part-time to fund my degree. I was all over the place, but two things were in my diary every week. And that was a step class and an
Mhm.
aerobics class, a Zumba class it was. And religiously, I did those and I went to the gym most evenings because my children one went to badminton, one went to tennis. And while they were in their classes, I'd go in the gym. And I did that exercise. I took time out for me almost every day, despite that hectic regime of study, work, everything else. I made that time. Somehow, when I qualified as a solicitor, it all went out the window then, and the long working hours came in. And I think we do that. Whether it's self-employment or employment, we forget to look after ourselves.
Yeah, I completely agree because you just don't prioritize yourself. You desperately want to succeed and you want to make it work. And especially if you're newly self-employed, you just want to do it, don't you? That you just think, more hours means more success. But unfortunately, that's not how it works.
I know, I remember my ex-partner, when I started my first business, he used to come home every night and he'd say, "Oh, you on that Acer god again?" I had an Acer laptop and he said all he saw was Acer. He never saw my face. He said all he saw was the back of the laptop because I was just all consumed. And, I became ill because I just literally burnt myself out because I felt that the business would fall over if I wasn't in it every second of the day.
Yeah.
So what's on the horizon then? You've got your networking group, you're starting your Pilates group. What's the ideal? What's the sort of the big goal?
Oh, what would the big goal be? I would like a successful retreat company. I like that. So running kind of retreats in different areas each month, day retreats for female entrepreneurs, so up and down the country. I'd love to do that. But I also really want to keep on building the community in Stratford by offering more events, diverse events. I'd like to partner with a charity, a local charity, so I can give back in that way as well. I've been speaking to someone who created a charity to help with the homelessness space in Stratford upon Avon, because that's quite prevalent at the moment. I'd love to run, larger galas for the local community and just spotlight different businesses in the area. And because I think it's so sad, people always look at Leamington, for example, our glamorous next door neighbours, and think that they've got such a brilliant business community, and it's not like that in Stratford, but it is like this in Stratford. Like, the people are the same, it's just that no one's done it yet. So yeah, I want to bring that to the spotlight, because we have an incredible business network here. We just,
It's
yeah,
hidden
it's
behind the
just,
tourism, I think, and that's the problem
yeah,
with Stratford. I think I love Stratford, and I'd move there in a heartbeat. I even bought a holiday home in Stratford, but it's because of the tourism there. I think the tourism,
mm,
the focus is so heavily on the tourism, which is fantastic, but
yeah,
the businesses get lost behind that. And
yeah.
some people have tried to do things. So I wish you all the luck in the world, because I think you're going to do it. I
Thank
can see
you.
you've got the drive behind you to do it. And I'm really excited about coming along to one of your events. So that's my goal, to come along and to embrace what you're doing over there, because I think it's a really great thing. And I wish you every success with both that and the Pilates. Before you leave, I always
Mhm.
ask my audience to leave my audience with, sorry, I always ask my guests to leave my audience with a top tip piece of advice or piece of wisdom, your mic drop moment. What would yours be?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this since you pre-warned me before we started talking. And it's going to sound really cheesy, but as someone who was not following their heart for a long time and just doing what I thought I should do, it has to be just follow your heart, do what makes you feel happiest, because otherwise you'll never be able to make a business out of it.
So, so true. A really good point to finish on there. You've got to do it with passion and with love, really. Otherwise, it's not enjoyable every day.
No, it's just a job.
Exactly. Well, I've been chatting today to Lizzie Hazell. It's been great having you on the podcast, and we'll share all your links in the show notes.
Brilliant. Thank you, Sandra.